last night was very, very tame. So it was tame, so I can have a good day with you.
I know you, bro. I know you. You don't.
No, I could get a little wild, but that's gonna be for tonight.
Well, we're gonna have something to celebrate. Welcome back to another episode of Off the Top. I got my man Ben from Stardust in the building.
Here we go.
Ben, thanks for coming, brother.
Thank you. This is best. I've been looking forward to this.
Hell yeah, man. This is going to be a fun one. I'm really excited for this. You're my first gaming client that we have, so I know I got a lot of people out there who are going to be interested to hear what the gaming community's got going on. A little bit of a backstory. Stardust is one of the framework portfolio companies, so that's how we got introduced. We've been doing some really good work for the last couple months. And I think like one thing that I like to highlight in my podcast is more of like the people aspect rather than, getting into the technical aspects of the company and what you guys are building, which we'll touch on for sure. Yeah. But I think my audience really is interested in learning about the people and the culture of the company, because that really, especially during these times when, everyone's evaluating what projects are legit and what projects are not going to be here. Like, people are drawn to people. You know 100%. What I mean? So for that reason, let's get into your backstory a little bit, man. Tell me the Ben origin story.
We're gonna have the backstory. And I think the backstory is great because it complements the whole entire spirit of Web3 as we're thinking about the degens and the people that walk the unbeaten path. And
we're both degens. Like before
we're both degens in more than one way. I mean, he's my spirit animal when I run into him. But I'll tell you this: it's my story is a very curvy road. So. I'm just thinking about it.
It's a good way to start.
Prior to getting to recruiting, no one gets out of college and says, I want to be a recruiter. It's one of those things where you fall into and you got to decide, what do I want to do with it?
Definitely no one gets into recruiting because they planned it that way. Yep. I have a background. Me and you both have worked in traditional recruiting companies before what we're doing now. So I think it'll be really interesting for people to hear kind of the cultural differences between that world and now, and kind of how that transition worked, because I could definitely speak on it. But
let's talk about how it started. So I would say prior to me going into this whole entire world of recruiting, I was what you would call a online poker pro. So I was an online poker professional, traveled around the country, played in the World Series, and I wasn't the person that you would see at the tables reading your soul, like, I don't even know what you're thinking right now. But I was the person who was looking at a 30-inch monitor, playing 20 tables at once, looking at stats, and just realizing what's the equity in terms of long-term decisions that ultimately causes me to get revenue. So did that for 8 years, realized it's really hard to continue to have a future when you're operating in the gray, because if people aren't aware, with online poker, it was very hard to get money offline. So I had a come to Jesus moment where I decided, okay, what do I want to do? And I am a function of nepotism. So I got...
Wait, but how long were you in the poker scene for? Successful, thriving. How long were you thriving?
8 years, thriving. Yeah. Don't even ask me, Ben. But did you lose? Hell yeah, I lost. But why would I? But it's all about the long-term decisions, just like anything in life. If you make the right decisions, the smart decisions, you're always going to get the positive payout.
Yeah. This is crypto, so you can just say I was a successful DJ.
Yeah, I was a successful DJ, and I was a precursor to this whole entire world of crypto, especially this fantastic market that we're in right now.
Look at the gaming. Look at the gaming connections. Look at that.
And it went full circle. So I went, and what I did was I reached out. I had my uncle, who was a very prolific recruiter, big leader at Robert Half, thought I'd be a good fit. Said, Ben, let me know when you feel like working for the man again, and give me a jingle. And I gave him a call. I said, Uncle Alan, I'm ready to have the conversation. And he put me in front of the right people. They gave me an opportunity to prove myself, and went in and was an agency recruiter. And I felt that there was a lot of really cool adjacencies in terms of the discipline and the passion that you have in any type of craft. Took that from poker, moved it into recruiting, and went from agency like you did, and then moved into internal. And
how long were you on the agency side?
Agency side, I was there for 4 years. So 4 years, I was I would say, at the peak of my career, doing very, very well.
And what kind of clients were you supporting at that point?
I was supporting probably middle market, anywhere from small startup companies all the way up to the tier of being small public companies as well too. I wasn't recruiting for FANG or big tech or big subs companies, because they already had the funds, obviously, to have an in-house recruiting team.
Sure.
So
Yeah, I was doing a lot of big banks, that kind of stuff, and it's just for me coming into this new world. But for me, I have a background as somewhat degen story myself, which I'll get into in another episode.
no,
So
we're,
I kind of
we're doing we're doing the dang drink. We're hearing the
No.
story. I want to hear a story. So
yeah. I mean, look, I'm just someone who always is very, I would say, like rebellious by nature. I'm always
I can see that.
pushing the envelope, pissing people off. To be honest with you,
you have.
I don't take directions very well.
You're
and-
slow. Yeah, I get it.
And that didn't work out too well for me in the corporate life. And it's just so refreshing to be here in a place that kind of embraces that spirit and allows me to kind of flourish in this space. But it's interesting though, because I spent so many years kind of curbing some of these trying to curb some of these behaviors that I have. But it really prohibited me from a lot of success that I think I could have had. And it's just so great to be in this space where degens are encouraged to make it be productive. And
Can you? I think we need to tell the audience what degen means. I think we should definitely mean that because they're probably wondering why are these
That's a
two
good
people
point.
claiming
That's
to be
actually
degens?
That's actually a good point because there's so many of these crypto terms that we just start using and with no clear definition on it, and you just kind of know when it fits into the conversation. Yep. I know what a degen means,
the Web 2. They have a different meaning of degen. Yeah.
In Web 3, I would say degen is someone who is unapologetically committed to figuring something out, regardless of what the popular opinion is or what the previous standard is. A degen is someone who's obsessed with pushing the envelope and doing things that most mainstream people would say are not possible or not legit, and making it a real thing. Is that kind of what a degen is?
Exactly. I think a degen, to simplify it, it is a believer regardless of what the wins and losses are going to be at the end. They're the ones that are thinking that this is the mission, this is the path that I'm walking, this is my North Star.
So why do we call them degens then? Because I agree with you.
Because the degen in Web 2, they're going to do degenerate stuff regardless of the repercussions. So it translates into Web 3 in a very positive light where they're truly believers in that this is going to be the new space. So regardless of the bear market, everything going to crash within crypto, they know that if they're continuing to move forward, it's going to all be good at the end because they believe in its faith. Right?
That's interesting. Yeah.
It's faith. It is. Yeah. It's a faith. It's a greater good. It's a bigger mission.
Yeah.
But when
it's so funny that an outsider hearing us talk about being degens would never come up with that definition. They would have no idea that that's what a degen means in crypto. So that was dope.
I'll tell you right now, my mom sees this. She's gonna say, "I knew it. I knew it. We're making some calls. We're checking you in right now. Checking you in. Where are you at?
Been there. Dope. All right. Cool. So that's true. So Web3 is full of degens. Which is the fun part about it. And I definitely want to get into the differences in those two communities, the Web 2 community, the Web 3 community, and even more interesting is the different subsets of crypto. The institutional side, the gaming side, the NFT community. We're here at NFT NYC, and it's definitely different than some of the other conferences I've been to. So, I mean, why don't we start there? Actually, we'll get there. Why don't we back up? So you got into agency side recruiting. You did that for a few years, and then what was your next role? I believe you were working for a Web 2 gaming company.
So I went into a large public accounting firm, mainly because what I specialized in during the agency days was middle to high leadership VP C-suite roles within finance, accounting, and typical G&A, business operations. So I got plucked out there to do some executive recruiting and pretty much put in structure to this accounting firm. And then that's when I transitioned over to a large e-mobile.
Wow, so you went from accounting to Web 2 gaming.
Accounting, Web 2 gaming. Web 2 gaming was an esports mobile platform that allows game developers to monetize their games in a tournament play. So,
slow down.
So what you want to imagine. So this is where it all goes full circle with me being a poker pro. So when I came to this company, I was like, it's a perfect fit because the spirit of it was very similar to the spirit of online poker. You are buying in for a particular entry fee, compete against each other to win real life cash prizes. So what this company did was they took a mobile casual game, imagine Tetris, imagine Bubble Bobble, imagine anything that plays 2 to 3 minutes.
Okay.
And we buy in for a tournament and the best player wins. Same thing if you go to a golf tournament. Same thing if you go to a bowling tournament. You're paying an entry fee, and your skills are going to be the deciding factor. So
Interesting.
I felt it was full circle. And then when I joined this company, I was thinking, why didn't I think of this? Why didn't I just replace poker and put something else? Why didn't I put in a game? Why did I put in Mario Kart? So,
But all right, so they were betting on the skills platform.
the platform was it'd be paying for an entry fee, just like you pay for a tournament, and whoever got first place got a certain amount of cash prizes. Second place, third place.
And that was legal at the time.
It's tournament play. It's competitive play. It's like if you signed up for a golf tournament to play in real life, or you signed up to play in a basketball tournament. It's your skill set.
But then why wouldn't they take? But then why can't I pay to play like on a online poker game on like an iPhone app? Like they give you that fake poker money and then you got to chop it up on the side with your friends.
Yep.
So
I think we always wanted to. I would say Skills always wanted to be in the spirit of within mobile gaming. They had never any intentions to move into any type of, let's say, gambling within that space. And I mean, in my heart, I don't think poker's gambling, obviously, because I did it for 8 years. But the common audience is going to think otherwise until you educate them. We can have a total happy hour on this. But that's what their goal was always to take mobile games, game devs, empower them to monetize, which, when I joined Stardust, was a perfect jump, because Stardust was a way to empower the indie developers. I mean, imagine these indie developers trying to break into Web3, trying to figure out how to go ahead and implement NFTs, looking for a great business partner, because at the end of the day, that's what Stardust is.
A business partner
to indie
developers
and to enterprise. Indies to enterprise and helping them be successful.
That's dope. That's dope. And we're gonna. I want to dig a little farther down into that as we continue on. But I'm actually curious. So, like, one thing I've learned through, so I love Twitch for music. Like, I stream, my number one way that I listen to music is through Twitch, and it has been since, like, 2019. It's my favorite. I have, like, 20 DJs that I follow. Whenever they go live, I'm on it. I'm on the stream. So, through kind of paying attention to Twitch, you know, you see the chats and all that, you start to kind of understand, wow, there's a whole, like this is a community. Gaming is a community. But even further, like, what I kind of learned is that crypto is learning community from the gamers. Like, gamers were on the concept of community early, before crypto. Like, so what I'm imagining is you leaving an accounting firm and going to a Web2 gaming company. That's probably where you first saw a community like that.
The community is there. The community is huge, and I wanted to talk about the difference between the Web2 community and Web3. Especially within gaming, where this is the delta that everyone's trying to solve is how do we get Web 2 gamers to really believe in Web 3? Because at the end of the day, you have to have what we call gamer empathy. You have to feel the pains, the struggles, disconnects, the issues that they're having. And what gamers in Web 2 don't want to experience is any friction getting into Web 3. How do I get a wallet? How do I do this? And that's why trying to help them understand, like, this is a totally different community. They're two totally... They want the same thing, but they're having difficulties connecting it because there's stigmas about Web3 gaming, where they're thinking that Web3 gamers are thinking about more like, how do I make money? How does this play to earn? Where you have these Web2 gamers, they're thinking, okay, this is the spirit, the heart, where we're in it for the game, and we want to enjoy the gameplay, and we're coming in, we're going into this world, and then after that, we unplug. But the Web3 gamers, they're like, okay, there's bigger than that. This is an opportunity for you to take ownership in your games, to take your assets, to move it around, and to be a part of the community and also help game developers grow. But it's a community that transcends past the game. So if you're playing a Web2 game, you plug, unplug. Web3, you're never unplugged because you're consistently moving things around, whether it's going to be assets or whether it's going to be over just being a part of the community.
Because it's just it's a deeper business model that, like, requires a lot more, and your goals, your vision, your goals are more than just building a successful game.
Yeah.
You see that you could have your game could acquire X amount of users, and what you could do, how to monetize, and then how to affect the greater landscape of what's going on in blockchain and stuff. That's really interesting. So what you're saying is basically from a Web 2 gamer's perspective, I guess the pro of being in Web 3 gaming is that you can monetize, have ownership, and bring more value to, like, gamifying certain things. but the con is that it's less pure. It's not a purist thing anymore.
Yeah, it's driven more by monetization, which, I mean, at the end of the day, we need that, right? You had free to play. People figure out what the heck are we going to do with free to play? How are we going to monetize that? Obviously, it ended up being the next best thing, and now play to earn is going to be that next level. And it's more of having these gamers understand that, and this is the delta that every game developer is trying to solve in Web3, is let's make a game, let's put in blockchains, let's put in NFTs, but at the end of the day, it's still, you got to make a pretty damn good game. People have to go and play the game. So the same situation where, and this is going to be my own personal beliefs, whatever, ex-coworkers, whatever, I would say, company I was with prior to Stardust, the problem that they were trying to solve is how do they make a hit game, but what they weren't really realizing is it's not about people go there not to gamble or play. People want to enjoy, and that's how do you have retention. That's how do you have consistency. So if we solve that puzzle within Web3, where these gamers know it every day, they're so excited to play, that's where it's going to be.
Is it kind of a similar kind of like dichotomy between like getting mass users on Web3 platforms that's like hard, they're not easy to use right now. Everything's not integrated, and Web2 is just much easier it's just easier user experience. But is that kind of the same analogy between like the gaming side?
Yeah. So here's the analogy, Dan. It's like hanging out with you, right? If I'm going out to NFT NYC and I'm without you, I got to wait in line. True. I got to go to bouncer. I got to pretend I know you really well. I only know you a little, but not there yet. We're not at the full official, like, he's not inviting me to his wedding. But we're going to get there, right?
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
I have to ask all these questions. I got to go what line I have to be in, right? And that's what it feels like to get into Web3. Now,
yeah.
Dan, if I'm with you, I just got to go to the front of the line, and you say, do you know who I is? Do you know who I is? I'm Mother effing Dan. We're in. And that's what Web2 is. Boom, sign in, boom, there you go. Exciting time. Let's play the dang game. Web3, that's why everyone's trying to figure out how do we create this frictionless experience.
Interesting.
So people don't want to think.
No
one wants to think. It's like no one wants to go and look at a menu and it's like 20 pieces. I want my burger. I want ketchup, mustard, pickle, and damn cheese.
Right. Yeah. That's awesome. Thanks for breaking that down.
I got it. Maybe it's the whiskey. Maybe it's the whiskey. I don't know.
Bro.
Maybe it's token.
My guy.
Cheers, token.
Cheers,
there
bro.
We go. There we go.
Oh, that was dope. Thanks for doing that. So let's dig in a little to the people, the actual community. So you just gave me some really good insights on the philosophies and why people the philosophies and the behaviors, but how does that manifest in their personalities and in the community? Because dude, this is a huge part of recruiting, and I know from our conversations that you're super tapped into this, because what me and you are in super alignment about is the best way to engage the communities are to meet them in their comfort zone. And to do that, we have to know what makes them tick. And you just told me really cool information about what makes them tick. But let's get into it. Who are these people?
I'm gonna tell you this. What I think you and I both agree, and I think anybody who's watching us, is at the end of the day, when you go from one thing to another, the only thing you take with you are your memories and your relationships. It's the people. The people. Yes, when you join a company, you think about the 3 Ps: people, passion, product. Yes, but the biggest P is the people. And when I realized when you're going into Web3, it is a community that is driven by people. And they're so excited to learn and understand this new frontier. It's so nascent. The way that I tell people when I talk to candidates, talk to prospects, is when you're getting into Web3, you're going in there and you're getting an axe, you're going into the forest and you're chopping down some dang trees. You're putting the dirt, you're putting the fertilizer, and you're building stuff.
Facts.
Right? And no one's going to tell you what to do. And the only thing you have is your mission and your drive, and you taking ownership in what you want to see fit in terms of what you're trying to do. So with this community, it's very different, right? It's not the institutionalized community where you see traditional where, hey, let's go to college, let's get an internship, let's go here and get these great jobs, and let's apply. Web3, this community is the people who are not, they don't conform.
Back to the degens.
It's the degens, but then you do have the traditional Web3 companies, but these are people who have the passion, and they're going to find very innovative ways to transition and show their capabilities. So the way that I tell it, it's like making an orange and making it taste like an apple. That's what it is. That is what it is. But
Where do you come up with this shit, bro?
it's the whiskey, man. It's the whiskey. I think token is the
Spot
one
on.
that's giving me inspiration. But it is.
Spot on.
It's like, how do I turn a dang orange and make it taste like an apple?
Spot on.
But the thing is, you can't get it anywhere else because every company in our space, they're new. They're new like your sneakers, man. They're new. But I guarantee you 10, 15 years down the line, there's going to be more traditional companies. There are going to be people who are going to need more Web3 blockchain crypto experience. But right now, you got to be like, okay, what are you part of? What cohort are you part of? What DAO are you part of? Okay, what Discords do you follow? Where are you at in Telegram? What events? What are you doing to help the community? And I think that's why it's so exciting.
Absolutely. I heard one of my friends in the industry was telling me interesting thing. Shout out to Kyle from the Tie. He was telling me that something that they do on their interviews is for every new candidate, like the first thing they ask them is like, show me a coin. And that'll just tell you, like, it'll gauge like where you're at. So something that I thought was really interesting that I observed in Austin for Consensus was I got invited to these different parties, and one of them, they were back-to-back one night. One of them was CME, very like institutional event.
Yep.
And then there was the Stardust event. You weren't there, but Atif was there doing his thing.
Atif, yeah.
And I just thought, wow, like these two, we're both here for the same conference, right? But these two rooms of people couldn't have been more different. The CME institutional one, everyone's buttoned up.
Yep.
They got a raw bar. They got like, you know what I mean?
What was in the raw bar?
They definitely had some oysters.
Are you an oyster?
Absolutely.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, they had.
We got to do this. We got to do it.
Yeah, so
favorite oyster right now. Favorite oyster.
Favorite oyster? I went to school in Long Island, so I like the Long Island oysters.
I like the Hamahamas. I like
Hamahamas?
Kumamoto too. I'm going West Coast.
Don't take me too deep on the oyster.
I know. Kumamoto. It sounds Asian. I think it's
don't
Japanese.
Take me too
We're gonna
deep.
go there. It's Asian. I'm Asian. It's perfect.
Long Island. Shout out to Hofstra. You did good. You did good.
There we go.
All right. So we had the CME event, which was all buttoned up and the raw bar and everything like that. And then I come to Stardust, and it just couldn't be more opposite. Super casual, gamers, different color hair.
Yep.
No one went to college, like that kind of thing. So I'm joking. Obviously, there's some legit people, but my point being, like the two communities couldn't be more different. So how have you kind of learned how to engage with people that are just maybe not in your regular circle of friends that you hang out with?
You know what? I think it's a good question because it all comes back to what do you value friendship? How do you see someone when you're talking to someone? You're like, I like this person. What do you think is a quality that's super important to you?
Respect.
Respect.
Just authenticity. Like I like someone who's being real, and that's how I do it. And that's the answer right there. Just be yourself. And I gotta say, like one thing I've learned in the last year of doing this is just to be so non-judgmental, because the more open I am to meeting new people, the more amazing people I meet, you know? And that's just...
I think you're spot on, and I love the fact that you use authenticity, because I was hoping you were going to say that, because if you weren't, I was going to say it, but I'm going to say it again. I said, at the end of the day, it's authenticity. It's how sincere you are. Yeah. And people, no matter what background, they're always going to sense it. They're always going to know, is this person being honest, or is it canned, or is it scripted? I mean, even coming from me, when you met me, like, okay, I don't really like this guy. He's kind of douchey. But at the end of the day, you're like, he's real. He's honest. He just kind of a little flamboyant. But that's what it comes down to is when it comes to the community and the space, I think what is really important is the authenticity. How do you convey yourself and do you believe in it? I think as you and me as recruiters, we can't stand behind a product we don't believe in it.
Yeah. 100%.
I mean,
and that's ultimately what we connect. I mean, that's the beauty of this space is that we all connect on the same. We're all here on the same mission. We all want to see the same vision. You know what I mean? So in that respect, I can just be myself. You can just be yourself. And why would I judge you? Because we're doing something together. You know? And so like that's what's been so dope about this experience is it's allowed me to be more open and to meet people who I may have just written off and judged in the past and be like, nah, I got nothing in common with this person. What are we even going to talk about? Now I'm like, I don't care what school you went to.
Yep.
You know, I don't care what color your hair is.
Yep.
And it's allowed me to meet some really cool people.
It's the best place, Dan, to let your beard down. Let the beard down. Let the half Clooney beard go all the way down. Let it flow. I let my hair down.
I own it, man. You gotta own it.
You gotta own it. That's your superpower. That's your brand.
Pretty crazy.
I mean,
it's pretty crazy when I go out to the parties. Like a lot of people like recognize me from the beard. That's a fact.
Yeah, I see. That's my thing. Like when I see a man with a good beard, a little piece of me hates them, but I respect it because I can't grow. I mean, I yell at my dad.
I can never pull off the sleeve like you, brother. So.
Well, you just have to be in jail 5 times, right? So you just joking.
And you're still welcome in crypto.
Just joking.
As long as you see the vision, you're good.
Joking. No, I that's why you and I, we hit it off the bat because we're real. And we really believe in something greater than ourselves. And that's the thing that keeps me waking up every morning is meeting real people.
What's dope, I think, about what me and you are doing is like in our past as agency recruiters, the relationship between recruiter and HR person is so full of friction. You know, it's not meant to be smooth, seamless. We're not meant to get along. We're not supposed to collaborate. You know, we're actually working against each other. And when I met you and we talked about our recruiting philosophies, I was like, wow, like we're super aligned in how we're thinking about bringing value to the community and attracting people. And it allows us to be less transactional. So, you know, if you hire someone that's not from me, I'm happy as long as Stardust is building because I know what you're building is creating more opportunities for me.
Yep. We always pay it forward. It's always taking care of your people. And people who are watching this is going to be a public announcement. All you agency recruiters who think that internal recruiters are against you, we're not against you. We all want to make the hire. But what we want to make sure is are our goals aligned? Do we have the best interest of the business in mind? Or are we trying to hit our monthly billings, right? So it all comes down to everyone has a different agenda. But at the end of the day, we want to make the hire. So when we're working with agency, when we're working with you, Dan, you are our business partner. Like you are the go-to guy. You're an extension of Stardust. And that's how I see relationships. Like any vendor that I work with, you're an extension of Stardust. So I'm very particular about the people I work with. And I always want to make it a very select few because I want to show that that's the love that I have to people I work with.
And I think one thing that I tapped into very early, which speaks to that, is that, you know, if you're being very selective about who you partner with, you want someone who's good for the brand.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And we all know that in this space, especially at this time, like I said, branding, reputation, this is really impactful. And I go out of my way to support the companies that I believe in and to promote them. And you know, that's the point of this conversation is to kind of brand you within the talent community so that the candidates that I speak to know, you know, what Stardust is about, who Stardust is as a person, as a culture. You know, that's the point of what we're doing here.
Yeah, I mean, if we think about culture, and we can also, you know, talk about Stardust. I mean, our culture is something that a lot of people can connect to. Being humble, low ego, high performance, being driven by accountability, collaboration, and truly being just a good human being. Like, can I have a happy hour with you? Can I talk to you? Can I take you on a Sunday brunch with my family? And you can be a good representation of something that I believe in. I think that is the culture that we try to embody, is that we're so excited to create something that hasn't been created before. And that's where it's a beautiful thing when a lot of people get together. We have so many different backgrounds, but the things that we're so thoughtful about culture is our executives and our leadership team. We have Beanish, we have Kanan, we have Atif, and the things that they embody is that zero tolerance for people that don't exemplify the culture.
I love
which
that.
is treating people well. I mean, being good to people, being just a good person overall. And I think it's very consistent. Like I was on a couple speaking events, and I was speaking to other fellow, let's say, talent professionals within Web3, and what they saw was everyone said that we want someone who has ownership. Like, how do you own it? Imagine like you're driving around, and we are in a foggy, crazy space. We don't know where to go, and we just see a light. And I tell you, Dan, dude, we need to go there. What you need to take from that is I got you.
Right.
And you figure it out.
But that starts with trust in the people that you're working
accountability, ownership, and being proactive. There is no roadmap. There is no Google Maps. There's no way. You got to figure that out through your resources and being innovative. And that's what it is about being in a culture of Web3, of Stardust. Is you got to own your own destiny. And that's super cheesy, but it means it's serious.
That's facts. And me as the manager, let's say in that scenario, I got to trust the people that are building with me to know that it's not a straight shot. You might make a mistake, but I trust you enough that we're gonna overcome that, and we're gonna get it right eventually.
Yeah.
And you're my guy.
You're not allowed to have analysis paralysis. You can't sit there and aim, and then the bird flies away. You got to be ready to make a move, make a decision, iterate, adjust, and be okay that you make mistakes. It's okay. Everyone is bad first before they're good. And before they're great, they're just good, right? So it's all a stepping stone. But how quickly can you get there? It's how much do you want to make those mistakes and change.
So you mentioned Atif. So you came into Stardust through a previous relationship that you had with Atif, who's the COO. And relationships are everything here. So talk to me about that relationship, and why do you think that he felt like you were a good fit?
I think, number one, the reason why he probably thought I was a good fit is I think we both have an appreciation for good hair. I think that's what it comes down to. Good hair respects good hair.
Good music too.
Good music too. I don't play basketball. I don't watch basketball. That's why I lost some points. He's a big basketball fan. But this is where everything comes full circle, where people paying it forward, relationships works, is when I was at the company prior to Stardust, I was trying to recruit him to join in a very high-level leadership role. And we just had a really good interaction in the way that he saw the way that I treated people, the process, the candidate experience. That was very important to him because it was a reflection of, like, how do we want to treat people in the company. So when he made
Did you end up placing him?
That's why he's at Stardust. He made the decision that he saw something in Stardust that was very important to him, was the people. He really believed in Kanan, who was our CEO, and the leadership vision that he had. But the thing that was very exciting was it was creating something new, creating something great, and he had ownership in what he was doing. So when he came there, he gave me a little jingle about 6 months down the line. He said, "Ben, you want to do something cool?" I said, "I like doing cool things." And he was like, I got something for you. But the thing that was very important to me was he told me, I know people is very important to you. I know working for great leaders is very important to you. Maybe you should meet the leadership team. So when I met Kanan, I met Beanish, I met Jose, and then I met Tatum, George, everybody who was at the leadership team. The one thing they had was they're humble and they're collaborative and they're good humans. Cool and people. That was something. And also the thing that struck me with Kanan when I spoke to him was, he's like, this is your baby, and this is you to own. Take it away, right? And the fact that I get to come in, build a recruiting function from scratch, scale it, and help Stardust be great, that resonated with me. Because it was the same thing when I became a poker pro, walking off the beaten path. It's the same thing what resonated to me when I went into agency recruiting, went into the accounting firm, went into the company prior to Stardust. Those are things that, like, I was building. And that's ultimately what you're doing in Web3. You're making some dang pyramids.
Hell yeah. But bro, I think what's the most impactful thing that you said there, or at least what resonates with me the most, is that you didn't place Atif, right?
No, I didn't.
That's
not at all.
But you kept the relationship. Now, most 99% of recruiters, as we all know, for real, it's all transactional. Like, you're a dollar sign to them, and once that transaction is off the table, there's no relationship. You're dead. You know, and that's what, to me, when you tell your story, that's why you're a fit for Web3.
And I'll tell you this, I mean, it's always the relationships, because even to this day, and I've been so far removed from agency recruiting, I still have clients reaching out to me and saying, I checked your LinkedIn, I'm so sorry, I'm so sad that you're not in agency recruiting, but I know you surround yourself with good people. Who do you know that you can refer me to? And then I paid for it. And then I send it to people, and I only had like a handful of 5 people that I would like give past clients to. And that's the greatest thing about it, it's the relationships. People, it's the little stuff. People don't forget. They don't forget the phone calls that you make, the updates, the little candidate care that's so essential to your success.
And you know, in our space now more than ever, this is coming into play because of all these layoffs and tough times in the market right now. So I know we spoke about this, and we're super aligned. And like, me and you are trying to collaborate and see what can we do to just help the community of people who are struggling right now. How can we add the most value outside of transactions, outside of Uptop, outside of Stardust? Like, how can we provide value?
Didn't we say we're trying to do a Twitter space? Or we're trying to help everybody listen in, ask questions, and figure out how do we continue to help people make a transition from these layoff debacles, right? And that's I think that's important. It's when we think about it, right? I would say Stardust. It's not like we have 50 million roles out there, but the way that I approach it is the community. So it's, if I can help you be successful and get another job and transition, then I think it's a win. Regardless if it's going to be joining Stardust or whatever ABC company, if you get value from going to a Twitter space or reading to a blog or reading my little random rants on LinkedIn, and that gets you to where you need to be, then that's awesome.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. And that's a way to create your own community and create people that believe in you and want to give to you.
Damn it, I'm starting a Discord.
Starting
a Discord
Let's go.
channel after you. Starting
yeah.
at you.
Nah, Discord, bro.
Oh my gosh.
Dude,
Discord channel, this guy is my superhero. Take your damn cape off. This is crazy
Shout out to Will the Trill, bro.
Will, where are you, Will?
Shout out to Will Trill. He's in the back somewhere.
Will, get off of Discord, Will.
Nah, what?
Get off of Discord.
That's what he's used to hearing his whole life, and now he's monetizing.
Get in real life. Stop looking in this.
Mom, the meatballs. Like, no, but that's what he was doing in his basement playing with Discord, and now it's like the future, I think, for recruiting. And I don't want to give away too much of the sauce because we're doing some real shit in that Discord server.
You got some good ragu.
No.
I taste some jalapenos. It's kind of spicy. Some spicy stuff there,
dude,
man.
Fra Diablo is being mixed up right now in the
I don't
Discord.
even know what the hell that is. That's a non-Asian stuff.
If
you said sushi and pho, I'd be like, okay,
we're
I
on
hear
the
you.
East Coast, bro. We gotta go Italian on it.
Okay. All right, okay. Come to LA. We're gonna do Korean barbecue. We're doing Korean barbecue.
By the way, I heard the Stardust party that was the LA. What was that LA conference? I heard you guys threw a banger. I'm pissed I wasn't there.
You know what? This is before my time.
No.
I'm kind of hurt.
Oh. We gotta make up for it.
Stardust team, we need to have a conversation. You throw a party in LA and not invited.
Man.
I'm kind of hurt.
Come on, man. Come on.
Yeah.
What's community?
Yeah. I don't know. I'm already out of the community now. We're broken up. I'm my own community.
All right. So let's get into Stardust for just a minute. And how long you been there now?
Oh, man. So you want to talk startup years or you want to talk real years? I mean, I'd say I've been there for 90 days and some change. And it's felt like I've been there forever because it's been a home. I mean, I would say, the funny thing, the first week when I started, I started during GDC, and I met the team, conference. And it's weird because it's like in real life, I'm like, oh my God, I'm actually shaking your hand. Oh my God, who are you? This is weird. So I'm like meeting people, and a couple of things, like even Beanish, who is our VP of marketing, she said to me, it feels like you've been here for the whole entire time. And that's when you realize that you're connecting with people, right? But I've been here for 90 days, same space, 90 days crazy, plus for Web3.
Crazy time to come into. Like, it was all so good different. Just a week ago. And now everything's feeling kind of crazy right now in the market. How is Stardust handling it? What's the vibe in Stardust right now? Or even greater than Stardust, like in the gaming community, how do you think all this trends in the market, tough times that we're going through, how's that affecting gaming?
I think what it shows, and it's the same situation where I can talk about parallels where they talk about the Great Recession and candidates leaving and attrition, and it's going to be very... there's a lot of adjacencies when we think about what's happening within our market, right? Where at the end of the day, you got to put your head down. You got to build, right? You got to stay focused. You got to be authentic. You got to build community, and you have to have a really good business model. So all the hype and all this things where the only thing you needed was a white paper is gone. Mm-hmm. What you need is the source of truth and really being honest with your business. And I think this is where we're going to be exciting. It's going to be exciting times because a lot of great companies are going to rise during this. And I would tell you this, I've never been even more bullish within our space. Hashtag DGen.
Let's go.
I've never been more bullish because if you got a sound business model, the long term is always going to pay out, right? So no matter you got the short term hiccups and you're falling, at the end of the day, you can hit the finish line. So
I think what's dope is like Stardust is like a gaming infrastructure.
It's infrastructure.
It's an infrastructure play. So like we're building right here, and that's not going away.
It's not affected. Yes, it is. I mean, obviously there's macro things that are affecting our business model, but we built infrastructure, and that's 100% never goes away.
Very cool. And just curious, like, so do you have? And I don't know that. Do you have much engagement with, or do you have exposure directly to Stardust clients, like the gamers, the game developers? Like, do you know what they're talking about right now?
The role that I have as head of talent is very unique because it's overall representing Stardust in an employer branding standpoint. So
I love that.
Yes, I do recruiting. Yes, I do talk to candidates. Yes, I do screen calls, etc. But since we're at this early stage, I'm getting out there, I'm building the brand, I'm having great podcast conversations with you. And yes, I do get to talk to our customers, but what I get to do is understand their needs, understand their pain points, but then also bring in the troops to take it home.
I love it. And like, I think something that we also probably pretty aligned on is like, I have a lot of DeFi clients. I have a lot of NFT clients, a lot of gaming clients. I'd be lying if I said I could go super deep and explain to you all of my clients like business models. It's a lot to keep up with, but I know what I bring to the table, and I know my craft and how to do it well, and I know my value.
You got a brand, man.
And that's it.
You got a brand.
You know what I mean? So I love that you're owning more than just the recruiting aspect of because talent is more than just recruiting. It's like you said, it's brand, it's people, it's networking,
Yep.
it's community, and that's why me and you are so connected because you're tapping into all that, bro.
Yeah.
So I couldn't be more of a supporter of you. Couldn't be more of a supporter of Stardust, and I can't wait to see how we emerge into the next bull market, successful, crushing it,
Oh my gosh.
building.
You know what this is? It's time for a hug.
That's fucking. I love you.
I
Love you, bro.
man.
Token,
There we
get
go.
in on this,
Oh
bro.
my
You
god.
here,
Token.
man.
Oh my gosh. That's consensual.
This is the crypto. This is Token, the crypto dog. Welcome, welcome to the pod, baby. So where are you at tonight? What's your deal for the rest of the conference?
So what
Are you working at the Stardust Gallery?
Yeah,
tonight?
we have another
Holding it down?
event.
Yeah.
We're having it's called a Mash Meetup. So swing by, RSVP, go online. But what it is just an opportunity for people, obviously in the space, different communities, getting together, networking. So we're just providing a platform for people to talk and build relationships. And really great NFT art gallery for people to check out. Yesterday we had Affinigods. I think we have a couple of other customers that are going to be coming in, and we're going to be showcasing their artwork as well too. But
no doubt, man.
it's
It's
gonna be
been
shindig.
cool. Like that was fun coming through the gallery yesterday. Got to meet some interesting people. Saw some interesting game characters and got familiar with what an NFT gallery is. But bro, this was dope, man. Thank you
It
so
was
much
good.
for coming through and doing
It
this.
was good.
Love seeing you, man.
Yeah.
I can't wait to chop it up next time I'm on the West Coast with you, bro.
Yeah,
I'll be out there.
please.
Hell yeah.
Because we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it the West Coast way.
100%, man.
Dr. Dre. see
It's
that?
off the top. Another episode.
There
of
we
the
go.
Buzz.
Swing it.
Salute.
One swing. Full
Let's get
swiggy.
it.
Full
Let's get it.
swiggy. There we
Alright,
go.
with it. Salute.